It's Delia. That's me.
Hey Delia Boppers, welcome back to Baldur's Gate 2. We are mourning Khalid, Jahira's husband, has unfortunately been killed by our absolutely gross and disgusting captor who has done horrendous things to the party. I was complaining a bit earlier about how emo and it's like she just has to have gone through sexual violence because like why does there always have to be that female character in fantasy who experiences sexual violence? And it's just like it seems like it's always there. It's like if there's a woman in fantasy, she has to have experienced sexual violence as part of her story. It seems like it's not done to like male characters, so it's like not only does it feel like it feels like so much like unnecessarily, you know, present violence against women in fantasy mediums. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, they didn't show anything happening. They didn't like make you watch it like some shit does, and like you get totally creeped out because you're like, oh gosh, like heavens forbid there is some sick creep of a guy out there who is enjoying this, but like you know that there is somewhere, and you just like it just like concerns you for like the future of like and the present of like women existing everywhere in a society where like violence like that is normalized and like it's like in this they didn't do that, so that's good, and I feel like they're handling her like as a survivor realistically, and I'm relating to it, so I feel like it's like as so far it's like it could still it's like when you do something like that in a video game, how you handle like the entire rest of everything is just so sensitive. I feel like it's a little bit like in the situation that it's like I don't want to compare traumas here, but it's like one of them had their husband killed, one of them's been subject to physical, sexual, and psychological violence, and well, I mean, for all I know, I don't know that necessarily Jahira wasn't. Like, this guy seems like a complete creep, but she's freaking infantilizing MON. Uh, I feel like this is a racial thing as like a half elf to like a human, and also I mean like MON is a young woman, so is like the protagonist. So, oh my gosh. Like, what's. Oh my gosh, why is Jahira being such a bitch? That's just like. Oh my gosh, I can hear them yelling at each other. I can hear them fighting right now. Like. Oh my gosh. So, like, okay, he started, like, desecrating the body and stuff after he killed it. Oh my gosh, he's like. He made her watch as he killed this character. This is just it's so dark. Oh my gosh. I hate how like Jahira is telling Emoen to shut up when it's like okay, so now in addition to all this trauma that Emoen's been through that we're aware of now, we're also aware that she had to watch as this character was like murdered and his corpse was mutilated and just like oh my gosh the levels of post-traumatic stress disorder that this character is going to have. I feel like that's a thing in Bioware games though. It's just like Commander Shepard is another one of those characters that you know has post-traumatic stress disorder. But like I mean once again there should be representation for like people with post-traumatic stress disorder. But at the same time, it's just like, oh, it's just like you hate that trope in fantasy. It's like because it really is. It's like we talk about it on Tumblr. It's because it's an issue. It's like it's just every single time that there's an opportunity for part of a character's like for part of a female character in the story for like their story to be shaped by sexual violence. It's like oh, it just like has to happen, and it's really really problematic. Oh my gosh, so what's going on here? Escaped clone, and I guess the assassin is the one in the hood and the escaped clone. Who are they an escaped clone of? Ah, thou hast come once again to prey upon me, my master. I'm not... How is she confusing... Is he trying to clone his dead wife? Is that what's going on here? That's like, I guess it's like, that's creepy. Like, I guess the way that, like, he's cloning her, she's like... She's not the same woman, and it's like, the whole idea is creepy to begin with, but like... Oh my gosh. This character has like complexes that I feel like any psychologist would have like a really fun time just like ripping this character's brain apart. Oh my gosh. I'm not your master. What can I do for you? What, how is she confusing us with him? We don't look anything like him. Oh, whoa. She's just like, I guess she's in her zone. Yeah, that's what it is. Thou hast created me in her image, but I am not her, I am not, and I shall ne'er let thee touch me again. No more death to rise again, not her. Oh gosh. Is she... Oh gosh, she's... Okay, so she's going on the attack. I thought that she was about to like kill herself or something. But I guess she's going on the offensive because I guess she thinks we must be like servants of Irenicus or something. Because I mean we're clearly not actual Irenicus. Unless he's like known for using magical disguises to come visit her, but like just for the amount of plot knowledge she seems to have, I would presume that she's seen the man before. Or the humanoid character. I don't know if I want to call him a man. I feel like he's very like... I don't feel like he deserves the title. But at the same time, there are so many men who are gross and disgusting in the world, and like you would just like, you know, feel the same way about as you would about Irenicus. So I feel like maybe we need to get rid of the whole like toxic masculine thing where guys are just like allowed to be violent against women like that, and it's okay, and like stuff is just like treated so casually like it is in fantasy, and just like so many like there's some disturbing stuff sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Like, everything that's going on here is just like, oh my gosh, what a sick and twisted, like, sicko. But, like, this is, like, just such an extreme version of just, like, such an extremely, like, detestable character. It's, like, it doesn't change the fact that, like, you know, there's just so much bullcrap going on, you know? Just in general that we sort of like turn a blind eye to, like IRL and in fantasy stuff, and it's like you look at the mediums and then you're like, oh my gosh, well no wonder every now and then, and you're just like, it does make me like it's like it's so you hate it, but it's like at the same time it does make me approach every game a little bit cautiously, and like I feel like a lot of women do, and like really sort of looking at the story and things like that, and being like, like if we're going to touch on serious subjects, then cool, but let's make sure that they're being handled appropriately, you know? And I'm just like, I am finding no end of just like this character is literally like creating clones of his dead wife. It's like creating a new independent person who is... I don't know why this assassin is not attacking me. Now he is. But like a new and independent person, like a different woman. It's like not your dead wife, and like... Ugh, it's like, okay, obviously that's not like a thing that you can do in real life. You can't you can't take and literally clone a human. Well, I mean, you could clone a human being, but I mean, like, the resources and stuff needed to do that is like, you'd never get the approvals to do it. It's just like the ethics would be debated forever because of situations like this, because that's a different, unique person, especially if you're not literally like just creating like an atom for atom replica of them, like in a teleporter, like in a Star Trek teleporter. It's obviously not the same person. It's just like a clone of that person, like a genetic copy of like that person's genetic information, but a different and separate person. So, but like, I wonder if like, now obviously I feel like that was the way that like this cloning works, is that it just creates like a genetically identical person, but not like, with all their memories and shit. Although, it couldn't just like the person is aware that they're cloned too and it drives them crazy thinking that they only exist as like a copy of a person. That's a common trope in fantasy with clones. But it's just like he's literally created this woman, this other human being, to please him by emulating the woman who is gone. It's so disgusting. He's like he's literally like got these dryads enslaved to like as his sex slaves to make him feel again, and it's like for like his wife being dead, and it's like, ew. Oh fuck. Minsk is just fuck. I guess I have this potion that I can use. It didn't really do much, and neither did that. I'm going back this way, and like, oh wait, she didn't cast that yet. I'm still just like, I don't know what is in this room up ahead, and like, I feel like closing the door to this area and like at least like trying to rest at this point, because I think I've like just exhausted the character's resources and abilities for this day. But like, I feel like desensitization is like a huge problem when you have like fantasy mediums where like, sexual violence is like actually portrayed and like, really casually and carelessly and in a way which does not, clearly send the message, oh my gosh, this is a disgusting and vile act and you should be disgusted by everything that's going on. And, it's like, you're forcing also, it's like there are people who survive stuff who are going to see that, and it's like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I can relate to this character. It's another thing to have to like graphically witness an event. So I'm glad the game didn't do that, because I like this game, and so I like to be able to like, give it points where I can. Because I mean, I like other media that doesn't shy away from the fact that like violence against women is a problem, because it's a problem, and like it's important for media not to shy away from that. Like, and even then, it's like some of the mediums, it's like I don't feel like they handled it as well as they could. But it's like, you just always hope for any medium when you're like, oh, okay, well the medium is going there, like the game is going there. You're just like, well, let's just like at least hope for the best with it. And so far, it's like, it's not coming off to me as like incredibly problematic. Just obviously something that like, this is definitely, it's a serious theme, I'm sure it affected the content rating of the game. Oh my gosh. He got, oh gosh, it's traps all over this place. Oh, this is the room with those wands that oh shit, Jahira died. I can't stand for that. Not on account of me just being so stupid. So this is that room that Yoshima guy was talking about, where if you go into it, Just wands on the walls. There are traps that set off spells that kill you.
You point where Minsk goes, evil stands aside.
Okay, so we don't want to run into melee with this guy because apparently just literally running in front of those things triggers them. So I'm gonna just stand back here and do some spell casting. And Imoen, she has her bow, but I keep forgetting that she can spellcast too. Do I have her in armor? That's right, I have her in stud leather armor. That's why I keep forgetting that she can spellcast. She's a mage thief, so she doesn't necessarily need that. Why? It's like... This is not how women's clothing works. It's not. It's really not. It's like she's in a hooded unitard if you take her out of her armor.
What do you want?
I'm not saying it's not cute. It's a little bit... I guess it's... Well, damn it. She fits into that niche where she's like a spellcasting class, so her movement can't be hindered, but I don't know. At times I question, it's like the whole like, also, why are wizards quite as squishy as they are thing. It's like, at least let them wear like something, you know? They get, like, robes can be enchanted, you know? Like, your clothing can be enchanted, I guess, but, like, and at the same time, it's just like, I don't know about the, just in the setting and everything, and it's cute, though. I would wear it, like... I would do a music video and some shit like that. Like, I feel like I would pair it with sunglasses and be looking Lady Gaga, but like... I feel like a more practically minded, like, and sort of thought out outfit with like a little bit more character than that, as opposed to something that's obviously just made to be form-fitting and throw on a hood and be like, oh, she's a rogue, and it's like, oh my gosh. Well, she's a sexy rogue, anyway. I didn't want him to do that. It's like, oh my gosh, and they cast all the way out to here? How do you disarm them? Because I think he said, he's like, if I remember right, he's like, there might be a way to disarm them.
Name. What is it?
I actually, by the way, I literally have a button somewhere that says Feminist Killjoy, so you're welcome. Of course, like, if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, then you know that already, and if you're not, then you should go subscribe and like videos and share them and stuff like that, because it's a cool thing to do. But, like, you know, also because queer content creators are, like, super hardcore being like slammed on over on YouTube, you should support like all your favorite LGBT content creators on YouTube, because like it's such an issue that there's a hashtag about it right now. It's like that's a current issue. Like, because people's videos are being demonetized, and like they're not showing up in search results, and literally all on the basis of like being trans and talking about it, or being a lesbian and talking about it, and being like, or being gay and talking about it and putting it in your tags. And the same thing is happening to like feminist content and other stuff. It's like they mark different things as controversial, and it's like, oh my gosh, I was looking through some of my videos, and there was like a video where I was speaking in support of Black Lives Matter, and it was like that was tagged as controversial, and I'm like, I'd like to think that the idea that Black Lives Matter is not controversial, but I guess it's a little bit showing of the kind of world we live in that, like, apparently YouTube thinks so, which that just feels racist to me, but that's my opinion. And like I feel like it's also just true, but like, you know, I feel like that's what someone who wanted to have an argument would say, is it's just their opinion, so I think it's messed up, and like I feel like any like of your favorite content creators that you support for like any reasons that are like feminist or activist or LGBT, like now is like a really good time to start supporting them, like in all the ways you can. Like if you're that person that talks about your favorite YouTuber, you know, like, oh my gosh, I would talk about different YouTubers for a while, and like you hadn't subscribed yet, then like now's the time. to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because then you just like get to see everything that YouTuber does, and like it doesn't cost you anything. You have to hit like the little notification bell though now. I feel like that's the new.
Stand back.
Then there's like there's like the changes that happen on YouTube that you're just like, okay, well these obviously like aren't aimed at anyone. Why can't I can't disarm this trap? It's like I can see it, but I can't do anything about it. I guess it's just like don't stand on it then. Oh, did I F up that bad?
What you want?
Like trying to disarm it? Did I set it off? I mean, I walked over it that time, but I did that on purpose. I feel like there's another one right here, and like she's gonna die if I don't have a potion. Like, who did I get? I feel like I gave someone like a stack of the yeah, there we go. Oh, it means has like some. Oh gosh. But like anyway, this game at least it's super complex and story and character driven. BioWare has like a good reputation for that though, so
Something up?
I've played like my favorite BioWare game is Icewind Dale, which like I've played before, and I've not actually played a whole lot of Baldur's Gate 2 before. Like I've never gotten very far in it. And I feel like Icewind Dale was very like there were NPCs you interact with, but like they were very sort of. I feel like we just have to run through here. There's no obvious way to disarm or do anything about any of the shit in this room. I feel like the symbols on the floor correspond to whatever the traps are. What a fucking douchebag this guy is.
Words. See battle bow.
I feel like there's just like so many things in this game to just alert you to all of the ways and how massive of a hateable douchebag of a monster this villain is. That's why I feel like when I say I don't want to say man, it's like I don't feel like he's human, you know? He's like, you know, he's an example of first off, like, I mean, so the villain of this game so far is like a rapist, a murderer, and like displays some severely disturbing like mental traits of mutilating people's murdered bodies afterwards. I mean, first off, like murder and rape should be obviously like those should be just red flag traits of like this is bad enough, but then it's like it gets even sicker and more macabre and twisted, and you're just like, this character is like, it's like they make you hate them. It's like they are definitely a very hateable person. What is this? So this is a vampire. I guess since there's people here. Okay, so these people are here to assassinate Ironic. Well, why are they on my side, damn it? Oh my gosh, yep. That's a vampire. Damn. This is so early in the game to run into a vampire, and like, MON is just bleeding all over the place. It's like, after that you wonder, it's like, how many times is she almost gonna die? But like, if you're an adventurer and you're in combat every day, it's like, does it get less traumatizing over time? Because like, I feel like the answer would just be no. I feel like every time it's like that you're forced into these weird life or death situations, it's like, well, I guess if you're like really good at killing monsters, like maybe it wouldn't be as traumatizing. Like if you're not constantly getting the shit beaten out of you and like mutilated to a pulp and having to run to the cleric or druid or whoever your healer is, or like to the potions or whatever it is, like maybe I could see where the draw and the appeal would be, because obviously there's got to be draw and appeal, right? Like they're doing this in universe. These adventurers are like adventuring for a reason, right? Although I guess that's like so different with different characters, like and different players and playing styles. Like you've got the characters who are there for the adventure. You've got the characters who are there for like, I'm super good at monster slaying. You've got the characters who are there not really by choice, and like just kind of it's circumstances have drawn them into the adventuring life. And you've got the rogues who are just like looking to make a super awesome payday one day in like, you know, the Dragon Slayer, or maybe, oh shit, I'm so sorry. I interrupted Emo and she was casting a defensive spell. Did it still, oh, it's still okay. I didn't actually interrupt her. She got it out. Oh gosh, well, I guess like if she can cast Stone Skin, she doesn't need armor as much, but it's still just like I feel like she's dressed just to satisfy the male gaze in that ridiculous outfit. I feel like she could be wearing something much cooler, like look at whatever she's wearing here in this. This is cool. See? Like give her like a hooded cloak to like hide around in the shadows. Like it looks like she's wearing a cloak in that picture.
Kicking for goodness.
It's just like a generic female rogue model, but like I guess it would have been cooler. There were probably like a lot of limitations because this is all sprite based. It would have been cooler if you could have like customized your characters look more, but like a character has like a given look depending on their race and their class, like they and their gender. They look the same. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the outfit that the dude rogues are in is about as ridiculous. It once again basically I feel like it amounts to a hooded leotard and boots. Or hooded unitard, leotard. I feel like they're both One Piece, but like whatever it is, it's that whole One Piece outfit, you know. And it's like skin tight, but it's like I feel like on the female characters, it's just like there's so much effort to make it boob hugging with like you know, like the way that like her packs are slung over to like and everything. Although if you wear packs over your shoulder, I mean it does emphasize your boobs in real life, but it feels like it feels like she's made to be almost naked, and it feels like it's not part of her character or like any of like you know your characters or anything necessarily. Although it could be if you have a character that like dresses that way. Like, you know, if you're a chick who's like, oh, this is cute and I want my character dressed this way, then that's valid. But once again, just like, I don't feel like that was what was going on. I feel like it was guys making a video game for guys, and they're just like, how can we find ways to shove more like scantily clad or like tightly clad hot chicks in here? Perhaps you will aid a little helpless boy then would you kind of like, oh gosh, I guess like he's changing into different things. Is he a doppelganger? Oh my gosh. So I guess if I'm not gonna help him as a little boy, is he just gonna continue to mess with me and like transform into something else?
Stands a
He's obviously a... Oh shit, there was a trap there. I mean, I can't be too hard on anyone. I can't expect her to necessarily find everything. What is this elixir of health? This is not a magic item I'm familiar with. The elixir of health is a powerful healing mixture designed to cleanse the body of all impurities. First, it cures all poisons and diseases. Then, once the system has been purged, the imbibed is cured by... Wait, what do they mean the imbibed? The potion would be the imbibed. The person imbibing it would be the imbiber. The imbibed would be the potion. The imbibed is cured by 10 hit points to speed the recovery process. Special cures poison and disease and heals 10 hit points. Oh, okay. So in other words, like, don't just waste these on, you know... Like keep them around for, like, when someone is actually, like, poisoned or something. Because otherwise it's like a waste of part of the potion's abilities, and just use like a Cure Light Wounds potion for anything else.
What do you want?
Well, at least like okay, we saw this trap. It's like there's just traps all over the place. He's so paranoid, I guess. I mean, least of all the things that just like this guy is sort of dangerously not alright. This is the kind of guy that needs to be somewhere where you could look through a small window at him forever. and like just like where he cannot hurt anyone, I feel like is the main thing. So I guess that's where we get the theory that the character's killing this guy is doing the world a service. So it's just like, though, it's definitely dramatic turn in the story. So you've got these two characters, both Imoen and Leandra, who are sought after because like they're ball spawn, and like I don't think they even know this yet though. I feel like well, one of them does. Wait, obviously, yeah. Yeah, that's right. They found this out in the first game. They didn't know at the beginning of the first game. They know it now, but like it's not like everyone knows this. It's not like common knowledge, and it's not like they always knew it. It was something that was like revealed to them later on. Her inventory is just full of scrolls. And like, but it makes them targets. And like people are out to kill them and hurt them and like experiment on them and shit. And like I guess it is a really super dark series. Like, I guess you expect a series to be dark when it's already opening up with, like, the characters both being spawned of, like, the deity who is, like, the god of murder in that universe. So, I mean, it accomplishes that purpose pretty well, and, like, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's trying to be any darker and grittier, like, more necessarily than, like, other fantasy. I feel like there are other things that feel like they try harder. This feels like it's building a pretty good story so far, you know. It's just like I feel like any time that like violence against women in that form like comes up in gaming, or really like, you know, any form of violence against women comes up in gaming, it's like it's one of those subjects that like you can't just like let it slide without talking about it and like, you know, giving it its due time to analyze and really just like actually talk about, as opposed to just letting it be part of the game, because I feel like nothing is ever just a part of any work, of any medium. Anyway, till next time, be your most beautiful you, and if you're here with me live, that means I will be back after a short 15-minute intermission, and I'll see you then.